For the People with Lou Ismay.
Marine Corps. Recruits. Learn something. They learn it and use it throughout their lives, hopefully. It's a saying. It goes like this. J did tie buckle. All Marine recruits learn that. They are the essentials for leadership, the traits of leadership. The first two traits, and there are 14, justice, and the second, judgment. Leadership requirements, justice, and judgment. Dependability, initiative, decisiveness, tact, integrity, endurance, daring, unselfishness, courage, knowledge, loyalty, enthusiasm. Those are the Marine Corps standards. And we know and rely for a couple hundred years on the Marine Corps. Then why did we elect somebody as president who had not one single trait of leadership? And we nearly lost the country. How come we did that? And what are we going to do in the future? Are we going to have standards of leadership? We're seeing one standard of leadership now. A man who's president may not have all of the traits, but at least has a number of the very important traits. So what's going on with us? What do we think? Talk with somebody who has weekend gigs, plays musical instruments, has a band. People come and listen to the band. Why do people enjoy listening to the music? Does it matter what their politics are? No. They could be fighting one another over politics, but they are working together because they enjoy the band. Could we work together because we enjoy our country? It does need some improvement, but everything that we do is connected. We can never live with a monoculture. Nature does not live with a monoculture. It's a variety of ideas and things that come together. Civilization cannot exist with a monoculture. It has various parts. Now, we may not think about it, but the various parts are somebody's a tailor, somebody builds homes, whatever kind they are, somebody does cooking, somebody is in charge of medicine, somebody is a warrior, somebody who's a peaceful man, very concerned about ethics and so forth. Whatever it is, it's parts that fit together for a civilization and for a natural habitat. Have we ever thought of it this way? It's our planet, at least so far it's been, for tens of thousands of years. sometimes hundreds of thousands of years. Some of us have been around. Not exactly where we are now, but some of us as humans. Whatever the distance is the time element. So, we have to ask ourselves a question. We treat one another as a commodity. Somebody says, no matter what the reason is, no matter what the thinking is, it amounts to exploitation. I'm going to exploit my fellow human beings for my what? Profit. My profit. I also exploit the planet. I don't give a damn if what I'm mining or extracting from the planet is killing other people. I will do what I want to for my own benefit. It's true, isn't it? So why do we do it? Let's just take a radio program. If you don't know about it, you will hear it now. It's a program that specializes in recording and publicizing the thinking and the speeches of prominent people. The series is called Alternative Radio. It's broadcast from Colorado, Boulder. Here's part of a speech given recently by a man named Stephen Berzuka. He talks about the sources of our pandemic problem. And he's calling it World War III. Think about this. Why did the pandemic World War III happen? Because the virus jumped from bats to humans in November of 2019 in China. Why? Because we had destroyed so much natural habitat, bringing us in so closer contact with other creatures. Why? Because it was profitable to deforest and plant monocrops. Why? Because we wanted economics to grow. Why? Why do we do this? It's so part of that to such a large portion of the middle of our country, the plains. Why the crops, the corn, and the soybeans, and the wheat, and everything else in a monoculture. The monoculture of agriculture, if we examine it honestly, it affects the psychology of the humans who do the monoculture work. Nature cannot stand a monoculture, and neither can a civilization. If we think about it, why the economics? Because we could make huge profits. Why is that? Because we developed rampant capitalism to exploit others to benefit some. Why? Because we have been taught to think that way from early age on. Why? Because it serves the needs of the rich and the powerful. Why? Because they want only one thing, more wealth. Why? Because that is the way our society has been set up to make the rich richer. And now he stops. He does not to say other things. But you see, we can never do just one thing. Everything is connected. Now think about this. Just one little thing off on the side, but also central. our brains, in front of our skulls, does not mature until for the women around their 20s, and then late 30s. So women understand their interrelationships and ask the questions, what's going to be next? What is the effect of what I decide to do? Or what are the effects if we decide to do something? Men do not have that ability until later in their lives. Could that be part of the problem of why we have something like U.S. troops in about 80 countries, and we have maybe something in excess of 800 military bases around the world? Decisions made by younger men, 30s, not yet developed them on. Some that are in their 20s. What are we doing to ourselves? What should we be thinking about? What can we do to understand that we all enjoy many of the same things regardless of our political stand? And yet we fight politics. No matter what the morals are or lacking, we're going to fight for what? Power and wealth. Now we have about 600 families in our country alone that dominate the rest of us because they are billionaires. Billions of dollars. If we keep remove them from the wrappers, stack them up one on top of another, how high would that be for $1 billion? Not $1 million, $1 billion. Well, how does some 100 miles, that's into space. Into space. If we to the moon, 3 million into space. It's not exact.
Uncle Lou, we lost your. We aren't hearing you. Uncle Lou, we're not hearing you on the phone.
$1 billion. We have 600 families in this country of ours who are billionaires. The exact number is not important. But the money is. It's power. Our country's been set up, especially since approximately 1970. $1 billion. If we take $1 billion $100 bills, remove them from the wrappers, stack them up one on top of the other, how high would that pile be? $1 billion. $100 bills. Out about 120 miles or so into space. That high. If they were $1 bills, they would get up much higher. If we had $1 trillion, then to maybe $3 trillion, a stack of $1 bills would reach about to the moon. Now, the exact distance is not important. The concept of how high the pile would be. And we have a number of trillion-dollar people in our country. So, why do people need that much wealth? And the country allowed to go to pot. People starving, poverty, people without homes, without food, without health, without good education, without a voice in the government. Government helping to make possible a few people compared to the rest of us to dominate us. People are beginning to realize it. Are we? Are you? Am I aware of all this? Think about it. What would we like to do? We love to share some things. Oh, we have bands. We have music. We have very important people in the arts. We enjoy the plays, whatever it is. And we enjoy skiing, and we enjoy fishing, and we enjoy all sorts of things. We don't argue. We just buy our tickets, or we just attend the free concerts. And yet we let politics divide us. The play for power and control. Is that what we want for ourselves? Is that what we want for our families? Is that what we want for our people? Now, after World War I, the United States of America became a dominant nation. And after World War II, we became even more important in the world. And we did very well. Something happened about 1970 or so. And the dates are not important, just a time period generally. We started, our people, our citizens, a limited number, began to become extremely wealthy. And the wealth accumulated. And so we now have billionaires and trillionaires, people who can do anything they want to for themselves and are not helping us in any way. Should they be? Should we have a more equitable way of taxing one another so that people have enough to live on and to enjoy their successes, but to help the country as a whole, the rest of us? Something to think about. It's time to think. We can can never do just one thing. We can never do just one thing. Every single thing is connected. That's the way nature works. That's the way civilizations need to work. Because there's diversity. Now, something to observe. In this whole scheme of earning more money, more profit, more and more profit, we tend to have a monoculture. In the middle part of our country, we plant the same crops, whatever it is, corn, wheat, whatever it is. It becomes a monoculture. Pretty soon the agricultural part of the monoculture starts to affect the people who are enjoying that monoculture. So they began to think the same way. Very little diversity. If you look at some of the maps in the New York Times, for example, realize both the East Coast and the West Coast. There's diversity, and there's plenty of opportunities for people. In the middle part of the country, there are not such opportunities because it's all part of a monoculture of some kind. Agriculture, but then also the civilization itself. Is this something that we should be thinking about? Are these, some of these ideas have not been proven, but an opinion can be drawn by paying attention to what's going on. There are lots of young people, young minds, looking ahead. Thinking about things. Will they decide to speak up among themselves to determine what will the best routes be to get our poverty eliminated, our health services adequate? You know, we are the most expensive health services in the world, and we are not number one in health care. We have more women dying in childbirth than other countries in the world. They happen to be people of color, but they're American citizens. And the rest of the world takes better care of their people than we do. It's just the way we want to live. People do not want to pay taxes. Living in a democracy, is that what it should be? Should we be destroying the very thing that people are dying for in their own countries? Democracy. Think about these things in terms of what do we do? What's the best thing? Maybe there is no one best thing, but there is a way. We may have to invent a better way. Whatever it is, can we work together? That's the secret. That's the thing that we need to do. Lots more to talk about, but enough for today. next time we get into other things. But give it a try. Be well. Think about a great world we have, or we could have. Until next time, bye.